Good morning, Kevin. Good morning. Good morning to all of you. Let me move back here. We'll also say that after an incredibly calm weather summer, which I'm so grateful for, the wind started blowing on Friday, and it's as if it was like, well, I haven't done anything for 3 months, so here you are. So my allergies are a little bit, well, they're very on. Good morning, Kevin. They're very on point today, so I'm a little bit sniffly and dribbly just because the wind has blown all of the things that I'm allergic to into my world. So pardon that. So we're going to work on the tree pose today because the tree pose is amazing. And I always assume that people like it, but then I realize people don't. And the reason why people don't like it is because it is a balance posture. So we're going to go through some different ways to do the tree, obviously standing up to do that. And then we are going to enjoy doing the tree pose as a position on the floor on the mat. So let's just start kind of grounding into the practice today. I'm sitting on the floor, so I'm nice and comfortable. I'm going to try and get Kevin settled here, but just kind of sink into your space. Let your shoulders drop away from your ears. Maybe you close your eyes. Start to deepen that breath. So as you continue with your breath this morning, maybe just let the head start to roll around a little bit, releasing some of the creaks and cracks. And then let's slowly open up the eyes and just give the shoulders a little bit of love here, just some gentle rolls back. And letting them roll forward. Hello, Teddy. And then do take a minute to bring them up to the ears and then push them down and keep pushing them down. And as they are pushing down, stretch the neck up. Lots of deep breaths while we're doing this. Keep pushing down, keep pulling up. And then soften. Good. Let's bring one arm up, really stretching here. Create some space in the side body. Start to move past the midline. Hand to soft. Then all the way up, roll the shoulder back. Let's bring the other arm up. Again, reaching, 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 stretching. And then gently crossing the midline. All the way up, rolling this shoulder back and down. Good. Let's lace our fingers, pulling them forward, rounding the back, chin to chest. And then pull the backs of your hands towards the heart. Bring your shoulder blades together, looking back or up. I guess to look all the way back, maybe we don't have those skills. That's for a reason. And then again, pulling the hands forward, kind of rounding the back here. And bringing the hands back, move your head back. We'll do that once more. And coming all the way back, roll your shoulders down, a little bit of a shake here. Nice, so let's do a little bit of cat-cow because that's always a great way to start the day warming up the spine. And I haven't done much physical yet. I got up a little bit earlier, jumped on my computer. I had some work stuff that I had to catch up on. So all of those great things that you should not do, like get out of bed and go right to a computer. Hi, Jeff. Thank you for joining us. So hands and knees, let's warm up the spine. Got a little donut bed over for Kevin, but he's on a hunt for pellets, so maybe he'll be back a little bit later. Alrighty, so just starting here, drop your head, just let it hang, maybe shake out your hair. And then very slowly, head and tail start to lift up. If you can, kind of bring the shoulders back, opening up through the chest. And then slowly reversing, so rounding the back, head comes down, so chin to chest. And then really trying to tuck the tail here. Let's go inhale, coming up. Exhale, reversing, big breath out. Inhale, slow, deep breath in. And exhale, reversing. Inhale, head and tail lift. And exhale. So again, inhale, head and tail lift. And exhale. Nice. Just come to a nice tabletop posture here. And I'm going to step back with my right foot. So I'm kind of flipping the toes under. I'm just going to press into this foot, this leg. I'm going to move up a little higher here. So I'm really just kind of pushing back, stretching out that calf muscle. So when you're doing this, you were pushing that foot into dorsiflexion. So the toes are kind of pointing up towards the knee, and that's giving that massive stretch of the calf. I do like to kind of put the pressure on and then release it. See what works for you. If you are prone, probably I should have said this earlier, if you're prone to Charlie horses, I think that's what they're called, leg cramps, this might not be your best friend. Let's switch to the other side. Good. And then bring the knees back together. I'm going to flip my toes under here and slowly walking back, the dreaded foot stretch, toes stretch, uncurl the pinky toes. Try and roll the shoulders down as you breathe into this. This does not feel good. I acknowledge that. Good. And then bring your hands forward, uncurl your feet. So in kind of a similar fashion to what we did last week, I'm going to invite you to now step your right foot forward so that it is alongside the hand and the arm. So across the front of my mat, I've got my two hands. They are shoulder width apart. And then I've got my right foot completely leaning into my right hand. My right leg is pushing into my right forearm. And if you can, the knee is pressing into the shoulder and the shoulder's pressing back. Relax through your neck, take some deep breaths. And then I invite you to ease yourself forward and then moving back a little ways. So I'm leaning forward, kind of moving through the hips, pushing forward here, and then back. If it's comfortable, you could kind of move in a little bit of a circular motion. And what we're doing is we're trying to get into some of those tight spots and just increase the blood flow through our hip flexors, which will come in handy shortly. Okay, let's gracefully, gracefully slide that leg back. Oh my goodness. And then we'll bring the other foot forward. So again, now we've got three friends across the top of the mat. I've got my left foot, my left hand, and then a shoulder width apart, I've got my right hand. Just breathing here to begin with. It's interesting to me, without even moving, I feel that this is a very different experience than the first side I did. So after kind of acknowledging that this is probably not going to be much fun for me for the next few moments, I'm going to start to kind of move forward and back. Jeff. Thank you. So moving forward and back, working in partnership with a dog. And then if you want to do little circles here or larger circles. And then switching directions. Good. Alrighty. Slide that leg back. Knees come further apart, toe knuckles together. Ease yourself back into this wider child's pose, sinking down, face to the floor if that's where you are at right now. Pull your hands back, lifting up or pushing up gracefully. Hello, Ted. And now I'm going to invite you to come into a prayer squat. And you could use a block to support your heels. You could use a cushion. You could roll your mat up. But basically what you want to do is, again, kind of, I do this on a flat foot because that's my level of comfort. I'm just going to push back so that I'm on, like I'm sitting on a sofa. I'm not. I'm going to be on my feet here. And then elbows are going to go into my knees. If you have a block or a cushion or something, you could support that way too. That's actually kind of, I think I am going to do this. It's kind of nice to be a little bit lifted up here. So I guess what I'm saying is modify this posture to something that works for you. And take a moment to think about kind of what this posture is like. It's a little bit like the butterfly that we do when we're on our backs. So if this is completely not working for you, you could tumble onto your back gracefully, of course, and move into a butterfly pose. All right, so I've got my hands together. The elbows are pushing the knees further apart. And the key in this pose is to let the spine relax. You want the tail to start to drop. Deepen that breath. And if you are comfortable here, feeling somewhat stable, I'm going to invite you to bring one hand down to the floor. So for me, because I'm using the block, it's just fingertips. And then the other arm is going to reach up. So think about what's happening in this pose. Notice, right? My natural inclination is to kind of lean into the hand, stick my butt out, but I'm trying to make sure my tail is dropping as I'm reaching up towards the sky. Lots of breath here, feeling the stretch all through that upper arm. Keep the face soft. And then bring the hand down. We're going to switch to the other side. Notice the difference between left and right. And it's okay to notice if there's discomfort in this pose. Trying to get the crap out of the way early here. All right, let's bring this hand down. Now I'm going to remove the block from under my heels, and I'm going to, in this frog pose, start to push my butt up. Bring my feet down. I'm going to hang out here for a few moments, allowing my hamstrings a moment to tell me what they really think. And I'm going to deepen my breath. I'm trying to get my legs as straight as they will agree to. And then I'm going to bend my knees and very slowly start to roll up bit by bit by bit. Be mindful of kind of the head rush that can occur. And then coming up to our standing pose here. I feel like my space is very dark. I'm not sure why. Anyway, I apologize. I am here. Okay. Now that we are in a standing position, we just want to wake the feet up a tiny bit. And the reason why we want to do that is because, again, with the tree pose, balance is really better when we have lots of messages coming from a good source, which for the tree would be your feet. So standing here in a fairly comfortable position, just bring a foot behind the back, bending your supporting leg and just pressing into the top of that foot. So almost a little plie here, just some pressure on that foot. Relax your shoulders. We're going to hold this for a moment. So we're stretching the foot and the ankle, increasing blood flow. Good. And then let's step across, shift the weight, and now on the other side. So notice how you respond to this, because this in itself is a balanced posture. So are you holding the breath? If you are, don't breathe. Let's lift up. Stepping over to the other side. I'm doing it very gracefully today, I feel. A rare occurrence in my life. And then I'm going to lower down here again. Let's step across. and sinking down on this side. Excellent. And releasing. Feet are further than hip and hip. I don't know what a hip is. Hip and shoulder width apart. My toes are spread, my arches are lifted. I'm feeling pressure up the inner thighs. Shoulders are up, back and down. Hands to the hips, leaning into one side. Don't go very far, just kind of pushing here. And the reason why I'm saying don't go really far is because I want you to really start to focus on the inner thigh and this notion of external rotation. So you want to kind of think about externally rolling to keep this leg open. And then we come up and start to ease just slightly into the other side. Again, externally rotating, keeping this leg open. And coming up. I realize I need to take my feet even further apart. Shoulders back, and let's lean to one side. It's almost like going into a warrior two stance. Coming up. Other side. Let's come up and let's do it now with the breath. So inhaling here, exhale, one side. Externally rotate. Inhale up. Pushing to the other side. Inhale up, other side. Inhale up. Other side. So let's just keep going with this beautiful natural fluid breath. Think about what your feet are doing. Are they active? Good. Let's come all the way up here. Both knees are going to bend now. Again, that external rotation, so pushing down and out. We're opening up here to prep for the tree coming up. And to come up, we push up using these muscles. Let's come down again. And up. And once more gently coming down. And coming up. Great. While we're here, join me in sweeping up. Really stretch here. Get some extra space. And then let's swan dive, moving down towards the floor. This is when I want to shift my feet and push my heels out further than my toes. Drop the head and breathe. Tight through the core, we're going to sweep all the way up, connecting the hands over top of the head. Nice big stretch here. And then releasing the hands down, we'll bring them to the heart. Let's do that once more, and I'm going to offer you an opportunity to go a little bit deeper. I have no words. Oh, let's just do it. Inhale up. I'm going to make you an offer. Exhale. Swan dive down. Once you come into this forward fold, if you want, you could walk your hands to one side and turning this into a nice stretch for the inner thigh. You can walk to the other side. I'm bending that knee as I come over. And then back to center. Sweeping up. This time, as we come up, let's lean to one side. All the way up again. And leaning to the other side. Great. Coming all the way up. Roll the shoulders, and let's bring those feet back together. Good. Thank goodness for water. Okay. So we've done a number of different things to increase the blood flow to this area to kind of wake our bodies up a little bit. I want to do a little bit of balance work now, and then we're going to come right into the tree pose. So bring your feet about hip width apart and start to knead your mat or your floor, whatever you're on. You really want to feel it. Really work your toes, work your feet. And then relax. Let's lift up onto the toe base. So as you start to come up onto the toe base here, so by that I mean kind of across the balls of the feet and your toes, bend your knees a little bit. And try and relax into this, and that will allow you that nice kind of sway. And that's also going to allow all of those kind of micro adjustments that happen so that we can stay upright. This is our reminder that balance includes a lot of motion. Balance is rarely still. Let's slowly let the heels come down to the mat. And now we're going to reverse this. So I want you to lift up through the toe base, which means you're balancing only on the heels. My butt's sticking out a bit. Maybe the knees are bent. Lots of deep breaths here. Drop the toes down, lift up onto the toes. So we're raising our heels now. This time, let's add in the arms, stretching up to the sky. So keep the breath deep. This gets a little bit harder. And then sinking down. Again, let's lift up to the heels. You can see my feet kind of doing a little bit of this. So again, there's that recovery that we're always doing, our little dance with gravity, which sometimes is a fight. Sinking down, last time, up to the toe base. Let's bring the arms out to the sides this time. Taking up lots of space here. Check your breath, make sure it's deep. Maybe a little bit higher. And then sinking down. And last time on the heels. And releasing. Fabulous work. Okay. Quick tip, because I'm always trying to make life easier for people. Even if you have a day where you don't have time to do a full practice, that little bit of playing around with balance will just send a burst of energy to your brain. And that can really be beneficial for so many of us. As day by day, I acknowledge that I need more of those bursts to my brain to kind of keep everything functioning well. Okay. So moving through the tree pose, we're going to do first, second, third position, maybe fourth if we're feeling like we're really adventurous. And all we want to be aware of with the tree pose is that we're weight bearing on one leg, which remains solid. And the other leg is lifted, a little bit bent, and constantly externally rotating to kind of open up the hips. The arms don't matter at this stage. You can be as creative or as comfortable as you want. Really, let's just focus on the legs and the feet. Starting in our first position of the tree, I'm going to bring my feet about hip width together, hip width apart. And doesn't matter which side you start on. But you want to lift up one foot. rotate so that the leg's already bending out to the side, and then slide up. So first position, your foot's going to kind of be just around the ankle, a little bit higher maybe. I'm deepening my breath. And then as I do that, I'm going to do a little bit of a check-in. So what's happening on the supporting hip? It's got to stay strong, which means I got to clench my butt cheeks, got to use my glutes. I need to keep my quads engaged on the other side. And a little trick with keeping the leg open is foot is pressing into the supporting leg is pressing back. Keep your tail dropped. And again, hands wherever they feel good. Let's release and moving to the other side. So just sliding that foot up. I want you to notice how you're doing today with all of this as you're doing your check-ins and those little adjustments. For those of you who have hung out with me for a while now, you know that first position of the tree is my arch enemy. This is not an easy posture for me, but all the steps we did in advance make this easier. It's really that beautiful example of take the time, work on the foundational pieces, and it gets easier. Let's bring the knee together and back. A little bit of release of some of that tension, and then we're good to go into the second position of the tree. Second position tends to be a favorite for people. It is bringing the foot up to that calf muscle, pressing the foot in, leg presses back again. Safety, don't touch your knee. Shoulders are back, supporting on one leg, slide that foot up. And this is often where, because of the positioning of the foot, we have the opportunity to open up the pelvis a little bit more here. Pro tip, keep the tail dropped. Lift up through your core. And really don't be afraid to use the glutes. I'm going to bring my arms out. And releasing. Nice. Clear the energy before you move to the other side. This is physically challenging. We always think the tree pose is easy. It is not. So if you just need that moment to breathe out the tension, do so. Make sure your shoulders are relaxed. And then we're ready to move to the other side. Now, I can't see much in all the little boxes that you live in on my screen, but I'm not seeing the flip-flop, although now that I've said that I will because I'll freak people out. I'm not seeing the flip-flop that I often do see from folks, which means we're doing okay today. I trust your breath is deep. I trust you're using all the other tips and tricks to maintain balance, which is deep breath, steady focus, clear mind. You can also drop your arms if you would like, or realign them. And then we will release. Soften the body here. Let's just ragdoll down. So it's kind of easing forward. Knees are a little bit bent. And bending the knees even more and sweeping up. Bringing that energy to heart center. Nice. So relax for a moment and check in with yourself. Notice what's happening. And for me, I'm starting to feel that kind of body heaviness that shows me that I've been working some stuff. That's really positive. But it's a challenge because now we're going to push further into some of the muscle work. As I invite you to maybe try the third position of the tree pose. The good thing is you are in your homes, which means if you need to hold a wall or a piece of furniture, go for it. The third position of the tree, we're bringing the foot up to the inner thigh. Again, we always want to be above or below the knee. The third position is where I have comfort. That's just me. That's how my body is built. It allows me to really open up through the hip and pelvis. And I find I can balance really effectively there. Better than first position, sometimes better than second. If you are not feeling that you can lift up to this, don't worry, come back to a second position. To prepare for the third though, I want to invite you to do a little bit of range of motion work. Again, if you need to hold on to something for stability, that's fine. I'm going to start with my left leg. So just doing a little bit of a figure 8. And I'm getting bigger as, well, I am getting bigger. I haven't even had my dinner yet. But my figure 8s are getting bigger here. Then I'm going to switch to the other side. Don't forget to breathe while you are doing this. My balance is obviously lacking on that side. Okay. Let's approach the third position. Some people, some amazing people can just let their leg float up on their own. I am not those people. So I haul my foot up and I jam it in place. And may or may not be enjoyable for others to watch. I'm not sure. So once I've brought the foot up, everything else is the same as it is with the other versions of the posture. Supporting leg is strong. I'm engaging through the glutes, lifting up and back through the core so my tail can drop, and hands and arms wherever it feels good. Focus is steady, breath is deep. And again, if you need to hold on to something so that you can actually get this stretch happening and practice the comfort of this posture, hold on to something, no problem. I'm going to keep holding here. I'm feeling my supporting leg is getting tired. My foot is talking back, but I'm going to go for a few more breaths. If you need to take a break, honor what your body is saying to you. And then when you're ready, releasing. Good. If you're ready to move to the other side, go for it. I'm grateful for my wall right now. When coming up with the name for today's class or the focus, I was kind of joking around with that whole notion of, if a tree falls in a yoga class, what's the saying? Does anybody hear it? For me, as my tree is starting to let go and become uncontrollable, often you will hear it, often through words. And that's just the fun of playing with balance. I'm going to hold a little bit longer here. Again, everything's starting to talk back. And then I'm going to release. Nice. I like to lift the feet up here, giving some comfort to my ankles that had to haul myself up and hold me there. Just roll to the shoulders. Cool. So one of the things that is kind of neat about the tree pose, and we haven't done a deep dive into mudras for a long time, but mudras are energy locks. Things like this, things like this, things like this. They are mudras. So in yoga, when we're kind of releasing and doing all of this, we're letting the energy flow up from the ground out through us. But when we create a mudra, we lock it in, we circulate that energy, kind of a little bit of extra love for areas that need it. So again, for a lot of the tree pose, we're hitting the lower chakras, which are kind of instinct, creativity, emotions. And then I like the hands to the heart because again, I'm kind of keeping the energy here, not worrying about the brain or wisdom. God help us, that's a long journey. But really kind of figuring out some ways to help the strength of the body physically and emotionally. So we're going to come back into whichever version of this posture you want to come into, first, second, or third. And think about creating more of a mudra. So even if you're in your second position, you're still circulating around the root and the sacral chakra. Think about what you want to do with your hands, maybe out to the sides, maybe to the third eye if you want it, maybe over top, maybe hands to the heart here, whatever you like. But think about where you want to circulate that energy. I'm going to come back to my third position because I like that. So choose what you enjoy whenever you're ready. Let's do 3 more deep breaths in and out. And releasing. When you're ready, moving to the other side. 3 more deep breaths in and out. And then releasing. Good. Let's bring our feet nice and wide apart once again. Toes are pointing in. Let's sweep the arms up. And then exhale, swan dive, lead with your heart. Bring the fingertips down to the mat, drop your head. You can play around with bending one knee, maybe the other. And then slowly rolling up, root to rise, grab that energy, push it up over top of your head. And then sweep those hands to the heart. Nice. Well, just like I do most weeks, in my mind, I overprogram. So we're not going to be doing the posture on the mat with the tree pose, but I'll try and add that in maybe next week as we come back together for our practice. What I do want to introduce, though, at this point is a little bit of an intro to the 4th position of the tree pose. It is more dynamic. It can be more challenging from a strength perspective, but it's a neat one to kind of play around with. And it really gets into the piriformis, so kind of all of that great connective tissue under your glutes, which can get really uncomfortable. So for the 4th position of the tree pose, we are still weight bearing on one side. This time we create our figure 4. So we're crossing over top of that knee. So my knee is here. I'm actually crossing above it. So again, I'm not on my kneecap. No patella. So up I come, and I'm pressing the side of, I'm not my ankle bone. I'm kind of the leg above the ankle bone is pressing in above my knee. So this is kind of our starting point. And then what we want to do is start to kind of ease down. Imagine your back is on a wall and you're sliding down as you're bending that supporting leg. I'm going to flex the heck out of that foot. You're going to feel a lot of similar sensations to when we do this on our backs on the floor, when we create our figure 4 posture. Again, you can add a mudra. Go even deeper if you want. It does look like I'm sitting on my sofa. I swear I'm not, although that would feel great right now. Couple more breaths here. And then we release. Give everything a little bit of love. It's a hard posture. It has a similar kind of muscle requirement to the chair pose, when we do this one. So tough work. Let's do the other side. I'll do it this way so you know for sure not using my sofa. So I'm weight bearing. I create my figure 4 to begin. Trying to get that pelvis opening, hands to the heart here. And I'm gonna slide down. I'm continuing the pressure between the ankle and the leg. That allows me to open through that hip and the pelvis even more. Maybe a little bit deeper. And releasing. Beautiful. Give your shoulders a roll back. Since we're standing, big roll of the shoulder. Let's grab a foot behind. So look like this. Pull back a little bit more if that feels good. You need to hold a wall. That's what they're there for. And then let's switch to the other side. Remember this big roll. It looks cool too. Nice work. Excellent. Shake out any tension that's left in the body. Hopefully your legs are feeling like that kind of jelly, they've been working hard kind of thing now. And we're going to come down to our mat and totally let everything go. And once we're down here, knees to the tummy, let's just pull them back, shoulders release and relax. Let's bring our arms out to the sides, palms facing up. We're going to come into a spinal twist here. So very slowly start to lower the legs down to one side. And then your head looks to the opposite side. I'm pressing my shoulders down. Lots of deep breath. So let's tighten through the core. Start to bring your legs back to center, and then you're going to switch sides. And then back to center. Hug those knees in again. Keep the left knee in, stretch out your right leg. And then switch sides, switching legs. Good. And let's end our postures before we sink into the Shavasana by doing the dead bug, which always feels good, at least in my opinion. So I'm going to extend my legs up into the air, flexing the feet, stretching the arms up into the air. Really big hands here, big jazz hands. So bring your feet apart, let the shoulders clunk back onto the floor, and then soften. And sway a little bit. And then let everything release and move into whatever position is most enjoyable for your Shavasana. We get ready to face the rest of the day. Deepen your breath and start to add some stretch and some motion into the posture you chose for your Shavasana. Maybe wiggling fingers and toes, moving the head shoulder to shoulder, whatever feels right. Let's rub the hands together to warm them. And then place them over your face. And wipe away any stress that today's practice brought you. Take a big stretch, fingers to toes, feel taller, stronger, ready to face the day, and then grab your knees, give yourself a hug because you totally deserve it, because you're amazing. And then move to a seated posture. Bring our hands together in front of the heart, creating another mudra, again, over heart center, our center for love, compassion, understanding for ourselves, and of course for others. Take a few breaths and just feel good about accomplishing something as important as working through the tree pose. All of the good physical benefits that come from that, and the mental and emotional benefits that come from that as well. Not only facing a challenge such as balance, but doing it in the company of others, which can sometimes be even harder. So thank you for that. Again, being aware that this is Thanksgiving, and I'm hoping that everybody understands that you are constantly receiving my gratitude virtually, of course, often, sometimes the joy of in person. But thank you so much for giving up part of your time today to hang out, to do good things. And I hope that this practice will prepare you for whatever it is that you will be able to joyfully embrace in the days and the week ahead. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you, Barb, and happy Thanksgiving.
Thank you.
Good to see you again.